the class who's dominant there. It was a joke, right?
Sure.
And the parents that came over were not impressed. But I remember in grade 2, somebody was bullying me, and it was a kid that like obviously came from a rough family and wasn't having a good time. It was this girl, and she shoved me against a wall, and I kicked her. Like that was just the response. It wasn't like cry because I got shoved against the wall. It was like shove, kick, like hard. And then she kind of, that was it. There was no more bullying. She was just kind of like, yeah, okay, respect you. So there is something to being taught to act that way, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have a theory that the reason so many people bully so many more people online and talk so much is because we've gotten to this place where people don't have those interactions anymore. It's like you're just taught to accept bad things, and you're taught to not stand up for yourself because you don't want to get in trouble, whatever. And I think what I learned just as a young age, and maybe others did too, is like bullying creates other bullies, because that insecurity, not ever being able to stand up for yourself, you then go and do it to another person. Where if you stand up to someone, it kind of like stops the cycle right there in the tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your mom like?
My mom, so when my friends used to come over, they'd be scared of my dad because he's loud. And then after they came over a number of times, they'd be scared of my mom, because she's the actual scary person in the family, or she was. So she was very open, very artistic. Like she does art. She was a massage therapist. She's smart. So she had a lot of health problems too. Like my whole family had a lot of health problems, which really kind of darkened the time I spent at home, which we've sorted out now, thank goodness. But she was, I don't know. She was scary. She was definitely stricter. Like if I wanted to go do something that I shouldn't have been doing, I would go to my dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you look back now with where you are, and you have mentioned your health problems, I've watched your TED Talk, your mom had health problems. Do you think that there was like a mold situation in your house? Like why do you guys? Oh my
gosh, yeah.
Looking back, what do you like deduct all this stuff?
What was the actual?
Yeah, explain that journey of your life.
Or is this a long
It's
rabbit
intense.
hole?
So it's hard. I think there were probably a number of factors that were contributing to it, but we did buy this house from 1910 that was destroyed. Like it hadn't been touched since 1910, and my parents bought it and redid the entire interior. But the person who did the basement, which is where I grew up, left a cap off behind a wall on a pipe, and the entire basement filled with black mold behind the drywall.
Oh, yikes.
And when it took like 10 years to figure out. So that's my entire childhood, because it was hard to tell in like a damp basement in Toronto. And then when they figured it out, they brought people in that just, put fans up and blew the spores everywhere, which isn't what you're supposed to do when you remediate. And so that couldn't have helped. But by the time I moved there, I was already sick. So I think these were just like multiple factors. It could have been mold. It could have been like being born from a C-section, maybe some virus. I still have bacteria. I don't know.
What were the symptoms when you were a kid?
When I was 2, I started to, like, as soon as I started to walk, I was limping. And so I had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, like from the age I was walking. I didn't get diagnosed till I was 7. And at that point it was in, I can't remember if it was 32 or 37 joints. It was in almost all my joints except for my spine. Like it was in my jaw, all my fingers. And so that was the first thing that hit. And then in grade 4, I got extremely depressed enough I was medicated in grade 5 with antidepressants. And I was having like suicidal thoughts and nightmares and like OCD. So it was like arthritis, then severe depression. And then in my teenage years, I got chronic fatigue really badly. So like I would skip class and go sleep in the library. I had this like little like dugout of books where I would go sleep, like really tired, just falling asleep in class. The professors were like, why aren't you paying attention? I was like, I'm passing out. I don't know why. So that was throughout my teenage years. And then I had my hip and ankle replaced when I was 17 from the arthritis, even though I was being medicated with immune suppressants and like Enbrel and methotrexate, like serious hardcore medications, still had my ankle and hip replaced. And it wasn't until I was 23. And I think I just like grew up a bit and was like, I'm like, this is not doable. Like this way of living is not doable for me. It was very frustrating. Like the brain fog, not being able to remember things from class. Like I had like 400 cue cards just to try to remember facts from biology and things that you should be able to pick up faster. And I was like, I've got to delve into this in an alternative way and just try to get to the bottom of it, because obviously what I've been doing since I was 7 isn't working.